hormones affecting your vulnerability to the coronavirus? Let's discuss it and what you can do about it. There's been a lot of news on this novel coronavirus dubbed COVID-19. Now, I'm not an epidemiologist, yet my area of expertise in neuroimmune endocrinology, or your body's internal communications system, tells me that your hormones definitely affect your immunity to a virulent virus like COVID-19. When you become hormonally challenged, your hormones are out of balance, your immune system is challenged as well, and you have a difficult time protecting you. Your imbalanced hormones affect hypothalamic function, which then affects your immune function. And that's because your hypothalamus controls your immunity by orchestrating your thymus to program your T cells to protect you. The most thorough protection is at night. When you're asleep, your immune system cleans house, ridding your body of invaders. Your hypothalamus also controls your sleep cycles. And your immune system works in basically two ways: cell-mediated immunity and humoral immunity. Humoral immunity secretes antibodies to fight against antigens, and antigens are anything foreign to your bodies, like viruses. Cell-mediated immunity secretes cytokines and no antibodies at all to attack the pathogens. Cytokines are tiny, tiny little immune hormones calling for the attack of certain cells that are infected or cancerous. When your hormones become out of balance, your immune system does not do its job properly. High levels of estrogen in our reproductive years protect us and our potential children by influencing our immune system to make antibodies against a variety of diseases. Eventually, when this coronavirus pandemic is over, we will have antibodies against it. The problem now is that COVID-19 is new to the human species. We don't have any antibodies to protect us. And when you're already challenged, say postmenopausal, your immunity is lower. And that's because you make less antibodies to protect you. Studies have shown that postmenopausal women, in their white blood cell activity, it's just not the same as when they were reproductively viable, still having periods. After the change in both men and women, your immune system depends more on cell-mediated immunity and less on humoral immunity. You make less antibodies. You forget how to fight common bugs like chickenpox, and then you're exposed to a child with chickenpox that can actually activate shingles. Because you are no longer producing enough estrogen to promote your antibody to protect you against varicella. We also know that if you give postmenopausal women estrogen, that their levels of antibodies start to rise again, not as high as in their reproductive years, but much higher, high enough to help to protect them. And there's a gender difference in COVID cases. COVID death rates are about 0.97%, a little less than 1% from the South Korean statistics. And stats from China and Italy show that men are more likely to die from COVID than women. Men are also more likely to smoke in those countries, but there's more information here. In 2017, researchers noted that male mice were more susceptible to another corona-type virus, the SARS and the MERS viruses, than the female mice were, until they removed the female mice's ovaries, and then they were just as vulnerable and the death rates were equal. Estrogen does seem to be protective. Our responses to COVID-19 could reveal important distinctions between the way men's and the way women's immune systems fight infection. It's suspected that hormonal differences may be playing a key role in that immune response, and we know that estrogen's effect on the immune system is key to protect future generations as women during the reproductive years create antibodies to pass on to their babies. And once we're born, we create our own antibodies against infection by getting either exposed to the disease, getting the disease itself, or by being vaccinated. Once enough of us are exposed to a virus and we have enough antibodies, that's called herd immunity. But COVID-19 is new to us. We don't have any immunity against it. And that's why we're taking such extreme measures to slow down the rate of spread of the virus. So the majority of us will make antibodies against it eventually, and will have time to create a vaccine. It's estimated that about 50% of us will become exposed to this novel coronavirus and start making antibodies. And that begins our herd immunity. The rest will have to depend on vaccines. Antibodies tell your white blood cells how to eradicate the infection. It's like computer programming. Adequate antibody production requires hormonal competence. As we age and our hormones deplete, we make less antibodies to protect us. Now, the problem with COVID-19 is that we believe that the way people die is from something called a cytokine storm. Too much of those little tiny mini hormones cause an overreaction to the coronavirus. It creates such inflammation, particularly in your lungs, so that your lungs can no longer make enough surfactant, causing your air sacs to collapse, so you suffocate. The cytokine storm can also cause myocarditis and inflammation of the heart muscle, so your heart doesn't function, which causes death. Your hormones affect your ability to fight off the coronavirus. So what are you going to do about it? Well, staying hormonally competent is key, and you can do that by doing 5 key things. Balance your hypothalamus, get enough sleep, eat nourishing foods, stay active, and lower your stress response. My hormone reboot training focuses on how to balance your hypothalamus naturally. And you'll get access to our hormone support group, where we're keeping you abreast of how to protect yourself from COVID-19. Now, your immune system does its best work at night, so sleeping in the dark for at least 7 to 9 hours is key to protecting you. And eating a colorful plant-based diet which focuses on lots of antioxidants, eating enough protein to maintain your lean body mass, and healthy fat to help to make hormones will support your immunity. And being active means exercise. You've got the time now that we're all in quarantine, but better yet, go outside if you can. Of course, 6 feet away from others. That way you'll get enough sunshine to make vitamin D, which helps your hormones to enter receptor sites, allowing them to get into the cells and do their job properly. Plus, vitamin D helps support your immune system. And try not to panic. Lowering your stress response is key. Because when you panic, your adrenals waste so many hormonal resources. Progesterone particularly is used up by your adrenals to make the stress hormone cortisol. And high adrenal production of adrenaline and cortisol to fuel your fight or flight response will suppress your immune response. Now, I use a calm meditation to help train your body to make more GABA and mitigate the effects of stress. Check out my next video on how to stay calm and help your immune system protect you.